Hey, my fellow toy collectors out there on the interwebs. Welcome back to another episode of MP Squared Reviews. I'm Mike. I'm living out my childhood again, this time buying all the toys that I want. And today we're going to continue looking at Blitzway's $700 Voltron that, unless there's something seriously wrong with it, will be the only Voltron in my collection, thus being the ultimate Voltron in my collection. This harkens back to when I was a kid in the 80s, seeing how cool Voltron was both on the TV show and when other kids had the toys to play with. All right, here we go. And here's Voltron combined. There we go. Let's get his sword up at the defensive here a little bit more. There we go. So, what do you think? I think he looks pretty cool. Definitely looking very Voltron-like. What else can be said about this? Well, let's just launch right into it. I am disappointed in this $700 purchase. There are some details that we'll get into that I'll, they just kind of nickel and dime you into feeling that it's not worth the purchase price. That's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. Overall, the figure fits well together. We'll go through the articulation and everything, but just right off the bat, one of the things that's a small detail, but it's just, a little frustrating for this price point. This weapon, well, not the fact that it falls off, it does come apart, but the handle, there's this little attachment on there, and that's supposed to go into the lion's mouth. However, it doesn't fit snugly. It tends to be a little bit loose in the grip when he's holding it. And then if you notice between previously and now, the sword just went down by itself. The hands don't have any mechanism at the wrist. It's just a peg. So if it's seated correctly for the weight of the blade, I guess it'll stay in position. Otherwise, you do get some of that. Not a big deal if you know the pose you want to get it into, I guess. Or, you could do a little bit of, floor polish or something like that to stiffen up that peg maybe. I don't know, I haven't had experience with that stuff. I've just heard that people use that kind of stuff on their Transformers. The sword handle has the same kind of tab, but it does fit better in Red Lion's mouth than the shield does in Green Lion's mouth. But let's try it in Green Lion's mouth to see if maybe the problem is the fixture of Green Lion's mouth. And it does seem to be more a problem with Green Lion's mouth than it does with maybe the tab. So maybe a little bit of something inside that receptacle there could kind of shore it up, We'll lose the sword for now, although we might as well show some of the cool details. There's that hold guard, so that hand guard there. It's very cool, nicely painted. And we went over some of these details earlier, but it does look quite nice. And the shine and the sharpness of these angles and points, it's just really cool. Be careful. One thing I was really happy with was the amount of articulation that's in the head. He can do this kind of tilt. That's awesome. And it has a good swivel feeling in the head here. It's got some stiffness to it. I don't know what mechanism it is, but there you go. He can tilt his head back. The neck goes back about that far, but then you can tilt the head up. So, you can exaggerate it depending on what kind of pose you want to show. The other cool thing is that he can also look down substantially. I mean, how cool is that he can actually look down like a manga shot, where he's looking down at people. Also, that looks really cool right there, just him surveying things. And so yeah, you've got all sorts of articulation in the head. And that is cool. Let's see, about a swivel. So he can't, No, he can do what, like, not quite even 180. It's more like 45 to each side. Doesn't, maybe a little bit more depending on the angle, but you can't get him to do the 360, so that's okay. He does come with batteries for his eyes, and you can turn that on with this flip switch here. The batteries do come included, which is cool. And there you go. He does have light up features. There you go. See that a little better there. They do add something to him versus not being on. But, you know, up to you if you want to use that. I have found that the light in blue Lion does not look as good. And the light in red Lion and green Lion has to be installed inside this thing. So see that little circle up there? That's the receiver for the LED and the battery. That was that pack that I originally said looked like it was a fuse or something. And the only way you can turn this thing on or off is by removing the battery. There's no switch mechanism that they've included in here, unfortunately. So that's a miss in my opinion. I wasn't looking for a light up feature necessarily on the eyes, but if you're gonna do it, you know, how about do it with some sophistication? All right, arms and legs articulation. His arm can do that right here at the back of the Lion. So you can go out full 90. The actual shoulder joint goes up. You can also go full 90. So you hear that's on a ratchet. That's also on a ratchet. The spin goes 360. Let me get this out of the way. But it's on a soft ratchet. So same thing with Red Lion here. You can go out, you can go up, and you know, I guess you can go up more than 90 degrees. And you can do your spin 360. Good articulation there. You've got shoulder bicep swivel. You've got this nice elbow joint here. What is it? Oh wow, it's like 2 joints. And that gives you the full 90 there. No more than 90, but it gives you 90. And it gives you a backswing, but you're not going to do that, right? Because that's his elbow. Wrist, it's just on a peg. So it does swivel all the way around. And a mouth that opens. And inside here, you can see that he's got a weapon in the bottom of his mouth. Or if you can't see, that is what it is. He's got these laser cannons, and it should pop up as other ones have done, I believe. Yeah, there we go. So there you go. He can either fire his lasers while he's Voltron, or he's got them when he is the Lion. So there you go. That's cool. And then they just tuck away back to the bottom of his jaw. All right. And Green Lion has a similar situation in his jaw. He's got lasers in there too. Okay, torso. He swivels, what is that, like 30 degrees either direction? So not bad. He's got an ab crunch, which happens here mid-back actually. So that's a good 45 degrees, it looks like, something like that. He's got these leg hip ratchets here, go 45 degrees out. And let me make sure that's actually extended all the way down there. Okay, yeah, it can be shoved up inside the hip joint area, or it can be lowered. So making sure it's lowered, how far can it kick out? Okay, so it kicks out still about 45 degrees, so no Van Damme here. Let's see if I can't get that all the way down there. And no Van Damme, but that looks like it hurts. That looks like he's quite flexible regardless of not being able to do the full Van Damme. Kicking forward, he can go almost 90. His waist piece here gets in the way, but it's roughly 90 degrees. He's got this knee bend double jointed, so he can do a very, very good knee bend. How about a back swing? Back swing is, what is that? 35 to 45 degrees on the back swing there. So he can run okay. Same with the Yellow Lion, of course. Ooh, this ratchets. That was feeling kind of loose. Oh, yeah. Huh. Not liking that. Under the weight of its own leg, it's swinging. How about blue? Blue is doing that a little bit too, yep. So, maybe there's a little bit of tightening that can go on here, but I don't know. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not up on all of these other kind of robot toys. So if I'm not right about how well these things should hold together, you know, let me know in the comments below. I would like to be corrected if that's the case. Thank you. Okay, so one feature that I thought was just cool, and I thought, you know, it's good design, is that the notch in these wings here hits the back of him so that they actually do stop in the proper position, so you're not fighting necessarily with the wings looking off center all the time and are never quite on center. They're just kind of built to rest there, so you get a nice symmetry. And that's not a nice symmetry, but you get the idea. One minor complaint here in Voltron mode is that he does have this back kibble from Black Lion, and it sticks out, you know, a little bit. So it's a little bit substantial. Not horrible, but you know, it's kind of like, what, couldn't that fold away somehow, like on one more joint or something? But there you go. That's Voltron in his combined mode. Oh, one other thing that I didn't like. When you are adjusting the feet, the heels do come out from here, from behind the throat. You gotta pull that back. There you go, that's your heel spur. And the foot does tilt down, but as you can see, there's this breakage in the shin because, you know, of course this is also a lion, so I guess that's where it's gonna break in the middle so it can do its lion thing. But it's so easy for that to get opened up when you're trying to just move the toe. I wish there was a stronger snap on this mid shin here. Same thing with Yellow Lion. See, you really gotta figure out how you're gonna put the tension on the foot to just get the foot to move and not have that shin open up. So there you go, that's all you got holding it on there is that little tab. So there you go. That is Voltron in his combined mode. All right, so before we get to the conclusion, I just wanted to address the LED lights that come with these guys. The one for Black Lion, I think, is pretty cool. The ones that you have to manually insert and manually turn on and off for Green and Red Lion, I think are pretty lame. I didn't show it on camera, but I did look at what the Green Lion's light looks like, and unless you're at the right angle to the eye, you don't really see it. It's not very, very bright. I also had a problem with Yellow Lion. Yellow Lion's battery is inside of its mouth, and the battery terminal does not want to keep the battery in place. So I compared it to Blue Lion's. Blue Lion's does work, and it seems to be missing a couple of little plastic tabs on the retainer for the battery. So it seems like it was right out of the box that I just could not get that battery to stay. So either the plastic was so weak that in dislodging the battery like you would normally, it broke it, or there just were no tabs there. So that is a miss on Blitzway's part. As a crew, they look really cool. As Voltron, they look really cool. So that is bringing us to the conclusion. The little bits of disappointments, such as the battery for Yellow Lion, the lack of die-cast in Green and Red Lion. I mean, it would have been nice for them to have some more die-cast. I know I say I'm not a huge die-cast for die-cast's sake person, but when you feel the die-cast in the Blue and Yellow Lion and also the Black Lion, and then Green and Red are just so lightweight in comparison. You know, they've got the die-cast in those legs, as we discovered, but just seems like there could have been a little bit more die-cast. One thing that I didn't display, but that I did find was a lack of head articulation in the Lion modes. And I really wish they would have had more articulation, so you can tilt that head and you can turn it really well left and right. All of them are limited in that left and right look. Yeah. Also, the way Yellow Lion sits, if you're familiar with cats, then you'll know that cats can sit very tall and regal and put their 2 front paws right in the middle of their 2 back paws and sit there and look like they rule the universe. And I wish that all the lions could make that pose. Even Yellow Lion there doesn't actually get to that most upright position. The legs just aren't long enough. The torso, I guess, doesn't compact enough. Or maybe I should just try to close the gap there. I don't know if I can. No, I tried extensively. It doesn't work. You can't sit them up taller. So as I sit here looking at it right now, those extra accessories that are all gray, it really kind of looks more like I've got a kind of an unfinished prototype set of lions on my table, because they're all just plain gray. That's it. That's all I got to say. In summary, I'll just say that it doesn't feel like this should have been a $700 set. If I'm off base, let me know. Like I said, I don't usually buy other toys, other robot toys aside from Transformers. So this is really an out-of-the-box situation for me, and I'm not familiar with the collecting territory for these guys. So maybe this is the best, and it's worth every penny from another fan's perspective. But I just feel like I said earlier, it does nickel and dime the purchase. It just doesn't feel like it was quite finished, and it doesn't feel like it was quite engineered as completely and with as much detail as it could have been, considering Black Lion's lack of rear leg movement and the heads on all the lions. So, for example. All right, that's it for Blitzway Carbotix Voltron. Don't forget to hit that like or unlike button so that I know, whether people are digging this or not. And hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit that notification bell as well so that you get notified anytime a new video comes to the MixelPix channel. And until next time, happy collecting, everybody. Oh, wait, before you go. These things that were left in the tray, these pieces. We've got this bracket thingy and these bits here. The clear things are for the display stand. And these 2 little bits actually allow you to display the sword and the laser star blade in another display mode. And these are 3 tools. I saw these 2 in the manual being used. I did not notice where this screwdriver-like one was being used in the manual, so check your manual. Also, as I was dismantling accessories, a warning to everybody: be careful when you take these accessories off. This is a thin piece of plastic that's attached to this, and I almost ripped it off because trying to pull the plug out of its receptacle, I put pressure on this, and that's not good. This plastic will not hold that. It started to rip. I don't know if you can see that there, but there's a little bit of whiting happening there at the joint. So be careful. Yeah. Okay, bye.